Good afternoon, members of the board. Today, I will present the employment law case Fortune versus NCR, a landmark decision that demonstrates why legal compliance alone is not enough. This case illustrates how the employment decisions must also reflect fairness, ethical leadership, and sound business judgment. I'll begin by summarizing the facts, discuss both parties' arguments, explain the court's rulings, and conclude with the lessons this case offers for organizational leadership. Let's begin with the background. Mr. Fortune was employed by NCR under a written employment contract that classified him as an at-will employee. This meant either he or the company could terminate the employment relationship at any time with written notice and without cause. In addition to receiving a weekly salary, Mr. Fortune earned bonus commissions based on sales made within his assigned territory. One of the largest accomplishments came when his customer, First National Bank, placed an order worth approximately $5 million for more than 2,000 computer systems. Now, although Mr. Fortune did not negotiate the final terms of the agreement, NCR officially credited him as the salesperson responsible for the account. So based on the company's compensation plan, this sale entitled him to substantial commission payments. However, shortly after securing this significant business, Mr. Fortune received written notice that his employment was being terminated. Ironically, NCR asked him to remain temporarily to help ensure a smooth implementation of the First National order. Approximately 18 months later, after refusing to retire, he was officially dismissed and no longer received commissions on products delivered after his termination. So this sequence of events raised an important legal and ethical question. Did NCR terminate Mr. Fortune because it no longer needed his services, or did it terminate him to avoid paying commissions he had already earned? From NCR's perspective, the company argued it had acted entirely within its contractual rights. The employment agreement clearly states that the relationship was at will, meaning either party could terminate employment without cause. So NCR maintained that it paid every commission specifically required under the written contract, and therefore did not breach any of its legal obligations. On the surface, this appears to be a straightforward contractual issue. However, Mr. Fortune viewed the situation very differently. He argued that NCR intentionally used that at-will provision to avoid paying him commissions resulting from the very sales he worked to secure. In his view, the company exercised its contractual rights in bad faith by terminating him just as those commissions became payable. The Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court agreed with Mr. Fortune. The court acknowledged that employment at will generally allows employers broad discretion to terminate employees. However, the court emphasized that every employment contract also contains an implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. This means employers cannot exercise contractual rights dishonestly or for the purpose of depriving employees of compensation they have already earned. As a result, the court ruled that a jury could determine NCR had acted in bad faith and therefore breached the employment contract. From the board of directors' perspective, this decision has implications far beyond employment law. Legally, the case reminds organizations that contractual language does not provide unlimited protection. Courts may examine not only what a contract allows, but also how those rights are exercised. Ethically, The decision reinforces the importance of integrity and fairness. If employees believe an organization will terminate them simply to avoid paying earned compensation, trust quickly erodes. Employee engagement declines, turnovers increase, and recruiting top talent becomes significantly more difficult. There are also strategic business implications. So while NCR may have achieved a short term reduction in commission expenses, the company exposed itself to litigation, legal costs, reputational damage, and declining employee morale. Those long term consequences often outweigh any immediate financial savings. If I were advising this board, I would recommend implementing compensation and termination policies that clearly protect earned commissions while ensuring employment decisions are based on legitimate business reasons rather than financial avoidance. Transparent policies, documented decision making, and consistent ethical leadership reduce legal risks while strengthening organizational culture. In my assessment, I agree with the court's decision. Employment at will should never become a tool for denying employees the compensation that they have already earned through their work. Mr. Fortune spent nearly 25 years building customer relationships and securing valuable business for NCR. Allowing the company to terminate him solely to avoid paying commission would undermine both the law and fundamental principles of fairness. As leaders, we should recognize that successful organizations are built not only on legal compliance, but also on trust, integrity, and ethical decision making. In closing, Fortune v. NCR reminds us that employment at will has important legal limits. Employers retain the right to terminate employees, but the right must also be exercised in good faith. Organizations that balance legal authority with ethical leadership are better positioned to attract, retain, and motivate high performing employees while minimizing legal and reputational risk. Thank you, and I welcome any questions from the board at this time.